to this place as to no other.
The following is a presentation of the Tar Heel Sports Network.
On paper, today's matchup with Wofford may not be the most exciting the Tar Heels have had this season, but that should not diminish the importance of this afternoon's game. Carolina is looking for its 6th win of the season, which would make the Heels bowl eligible for the 3rd consecutive year. The Tar Heels are looking to send out 22 players going through senior day activities on the right note in their final game in Kenan Stadium. And, quite simply, it's another chance to play and improve as the 2021 season nears conclusion. The Tar Heels Sports Network's coverage of the first meeting between Wofford and Carolina starts right now.
People are asking about the pressure and the hype. We're just on a roll. Things are good, and I'm excited about it.
I mean, we're all holding ourselves now to a super high standard.
We've got the leadership.
We prepare the same way for every team. No game is bigger than others.
We've got the confidence.
I feel like now nobody can stay with me, and it just rolls into practice.
If you're seeing it in practice, it's going to show up in the game.
I embrace the challenge, honestly.
I just know I got to keep on going.
I'm coming down, making plays.
Anticipate things more.
It's only going to keep getting better.
We're going to be good every year. That's just who we are. That's our program.
This is Carolina football.
Coffrey off to the races, and they will not catch him. Touchdown, Carolina. Howell, first down and more. Howell to the 5, Howell to the end zone. 40, 35, 30. Tar Heels will have it inside the Deacon 15. 25, 20, 10, 5. Trucks over a defender. Goodness gracious. 50, 10, 5. Give him 6-4. Holy smokes. Light that bell tower blue.
Let's go.
It is unclear whether or not Sam Howell will play today for Carolina, but even if the record-setting quarterback does participate, the Tar Heels would like to get a long look at Jacoby Criswell and Drake May behind center this afternoon. Brian Simmons was a 2-time All-America at Carolina, has his jersey honored at UNC, and played a decade in the NFL.
Senior day, the day you realize just how fast 3, 4, 5, and in some cases 6 years go by.
It's up 5, 6, 7, whatever. Just take it at your own pace. Lee Pace authors Extra Points and will be reporting from the crisp sidelines this afternoon.
Wofford College is a private institution of just over 1,700 students with some success in big-time athletic trophy hunting. Witness the Terriers' 2 wins over Tar Heel basketball in 2017 and 19. Football, though, is a different matter for a potential David against Goliath, and we'll find out in an hour just how much resistance Wofford can muster against the Carolina squad with a lot left to play for.
We have all those storylines plus interviews with the head coaches, Mack Brown and Josh Conklin. We'll continue our weekly conversations with Carolina great Jeff Saturday, preview the upcoming basketball matchup against Purdue, and check scores, get you ready for scores around the ACC and Top 25. All of that and a lot more coming up. It's Wofford at Carolina, the senior day version of the Reed's Jewelers pregame show from Learfield. welcome inside Kenan Stadium. It is indeed the Reed's Jewelers pregame show, brought to you by Reed's Jewelers, your hometown jeweler, trusted with life's moments. Maybe you're watching on the Carolina Football Field Pass presented by Wells Fargo. Good to see you as well. Thanks so much for being with us. We've got a long day of Carolina action for you today. Before we get started here in Kenan, let me just give you a quick snapshot of what's going on. I'm here. I'm Jones. I'm with Brian and Lee and the whole gang here in Kenan. Jody Zoigner, our statistician. Ben Alexander, our chief network engineer. Kyle Straub going to be filling in for Dave Nathan today. That is because Dave is up in Uncasville, Connecticut, along with Eric Montross and Adam Lucas. Those guys will be bringing you Carolina basketball. That game starts at 4 o'clock this afternoon against Purdue. So what we're going to do is after this game concludes, we'll have a little window of time that will wrap up things here in Kenan and then send you up to Connecticut and let Dave, Eric, and Adam get you through the rest of the afternoon, hopefully a couple of big Tar Heel victories. So a long day of Carolina athletics. We're excited that you're going to be here with us all day long. And, Brian, it starts with Senior Day in Chapel Hill. Carolina has 22 players going through the Senior Day activities, marking their final appearance in Kenan Stadium. It's an emotional day, and it's a day that the coaches and the players take seriously. They try to send these seniors out on a winning note.
Absolutely. Homecoming and Senior Day, two games that you absolutely want to win and you must win, and you feel like as a coach you owe it to the players to send them out that way, and then the younger guys feel the same way. And, after the game, before the game, the emotions don't really get to you, but it's after the game when you're sitting in the locker room and you realize for a lot of guys, one, this will be the last time that I put on a uniform to play football again. And then secondly, even if I do move on for some of these guys, obviously you'll never put on that Carolina uniform, sure. And that means a lot to these guys who've been here, like I said, in some cases 6 years. So a lot of their life has been made here, and they develop who they are, obviously as a football player, but more importantly as a person.
Lee, one of those players that is going through the activities today is Sam Howell. And that brings up two topics. One, this is likely Howell's final game in Kenan, and everyone should appreciate the impact that he has had, not just on the field, but as a program builder for Carolina. And then two, Sam's status for today not really known following an injury late in the Pittsburgh game.
Well, Jones, I reflected earlier this week on first meeting Sam Howell, my first exposure to him. He was on the sidelines prior to a game early in the 17 or 18 seasons when Larry Fedora was still here. Drake Bly, who was living and coaching in Charlotte at the time, was close to the program before Mac Brown hired him, and Dre introduced me to him. And I looked at Sam and had a nice little conversation with him, but he just didn't impress me as the type of five-star quarterback that everybody in the country was. He's kind of a short guy, a little extra girth around the middle, you might say, but boy, how did he fool me and fooled everybody else with how good he has been. Mac Brown talked this week about how he has been the face of the program after coming in and beating South Carolina and Miami those first two games, and he sent a big-time signal that it's okay to come to Carolina to other recruits when he flipped from Florida State. But what a great athlete he has been, and what a workmanlike mentality he has brought to the program. I remember Aaron Crawford, the big fifth-year defensive tackle 2 years ago. He was a little skeptical of this young kid coming in with all the stars and the big flip and all the publicity. And Aaron saw how hard he worked, how disciplined he was, how structured, how focused he was, and he said, this kid's going to be really good, and he certainly has. Will he play tonight? Don't know. Or this afternoon? Don't know. Honestly, I'd let him sit. I'd let him take his bow with his parents, sit out the rest of this game, get ready for NC State, and let Drake May and Jacoby Criswell take it.
And I'll say this about Sam. Obviously, we've been here for all the games, and he's put up crazy numbers. But to me, that South Carolina game may be the most impressive game that I've seen from Sam, just because, think about it, he was a couple months out of high school playing against a top SEC defense that had a bunch of NFL players up there, and all he did was went out there and balled out, straight out of high school. And to me, that sent the signal. I don't know. Obviously, I don't think anybody could imagine his career being what it was, but that game told me that this is not going to be too big for him.
Sam is one of the team captains today for Carolina, but also he was not out earlier with the quarterbacks when Jacoby Criswell, Drake May, Jefferson Boaz, they were all out going through some early warm-up throws. Sam was not out there with that group. As soon as we learn a definitive answer, we'll let you know. He was injured late in that Pitt game. It is not a season-ending injury. The word has been that first, of course, he has to be cleared medically, and then if he is cleared medically, that he will then be allowed to make that decision if he feels like he can go out and help the team. So we'll have to wait and see how all that plays out. It truly is a day decision here, and probably a decision, obviously, that's going to be made, has to be made in the next hour or so. Brian, if this game does work out the way the Heels hope, not just Jacoby Criswell and Drake May, like Lee mentioned, but Carolina should have the chance to play a lot of young players, and several of those young players are going to have key roles for the Tar Heels in the very near future.
Absolutely, and that's the great thing, when you schedule an opponent like this, you hope that you can get out of this game is being able to get some of the younger guys exposure. And listen, I don't care how competitive practices are, they're not football games. And to be able to get a look at guys when the bullets are live, especially because now you got to consider today is the start of the quarterback competition for next year, and they have to figure out who's going to be that guy. And so don't take that for granted. Obviously, you'll go through spring ball, but what those guys do today in Keenan Stadium will have a big part in that, especially going into spring. The mindset that the coaches have about the competition for quarterback.
Lee, real quick, Carolina's last action was last Thursday at Pitt, and boy, just another Jekyll and Hyde performance from the Heels. Carolina just didn't do much right in the first quarter. Fell behind 17-0, climbed all the way back to force overtime, and then fell by a touchdown 30-23 in the extra period.
Jones, that game was eerily reminiscent of the first game of the year at Virginia Tech, where Carolina only had 9 minutes of possession the first half and 0 points, and were down 14-0. In intermission, they were down 17-0, as you said. And give credit to Coach Brown, his staff, and the players for resurrecting what had been a disaster the first quarter, fighting back and having a chance to win on the road. There's just something about these night games on the road that has really vexed the Tar Heels, but that's something like penalties that we've talked a lot about. They just got to grow out of it, and I think in time they will.
Carolina facing Wofford today. Both teams starting to go through some pregame warm-ups. We'll take a closer look at the Terriers when we return to the Reese Jewelers pregame show. All coming your way from Learfield.
What are you doing? The Fox brothers, high maintenance. You know what I mean, Eugene? Yes. Yes, here we go. Where's the nose guard? Let's. There he goes. I mean, you look like you're 55 years old right now. Is this his jam right here? Yeah. Hey, good start. Let's get cranked up. Let's go. Let's go. No, I never had a pedicure. You never had a pedicure? No. Why? Because I'm Jay Bateman and you're Trey Morrison. It's good for your feet. Yeah, I hear you. Better, Gio. Better. Still drive off of it, right? Like, watch out. Like if you and I, if we were going up for a jump ball and I went boom, you with me? I got a better vert than you, so that would be part of it. We're working on right now, working on shock, right, and then kind of a baby doll throw off, all right? But I can't just kiss it off. Go again, here we go. Set, go. Good. Good. They let me mention that Jenna was the best manager of all time. You know what I mean, Doug? Yeah, hey, truth hurts, brother. Come on, Doug. Here we go, working on half-field coverage. Come on, Doug. I need a ball, Doug. Thanks, dude. Doug, these guys, man. You know what I mean? Me and you, we don't need any water, do we? We just grind.
Here in Chapel Hill, sunny, cool. It's only supposed to get into the lower 50s today. It's actually been pretty warm this past week, but a cold front came through late in the week. It's supposed to be chilly all afternoon, but bright sunny day. Both teams out on the field going through some warm-ups. Wofford to your right, the visiting Terriers wearing solid gold helmets, white jerseys, gold pants. No logo on the side of the helmets for Wofford. Their numbers are in black. No names on the jerseys for the Terriers. Meanwhile, Tar Heels going with their traditional home look. The Carolina blue helmets, Carolina blue jerseys, white pants, the numbers and letters on the jerseys in white, the blue Argyle down the side of the pants, and that white NC logo on the side of the helmets. First meeting between Carolina and Wofford. And Brian, Coach Brown likes to say facts. It's just a fact that it's been a difficult season for Wofford. It has been injury-filled, and they just don't have the record they want. They're 1-9 entering the game today. They are just 2 seasons removed from back-to-back conference championships, but without a win today, they would have lost 10 consecutive games for the first time in school history.
Yeah, and I thought you was going to conclude that sentence by saying for the Tar Heels, but no, it has been a difficult season for those guys, and like you stated, these are a bunch of guys who are used to winning. So listen, Carolina has to understand, Wofford comes in this building, they're going to be excited to play this football game. This is going to be one game that can correct or kind of smooth over a little bit of the rough feeling that their season has provided for them. So, they're going to face a team that's going to be up and emotionally charged, and Carolina just has to take all that out of them early on, because a team like this, the longer you let them stay in it, the more of a dogfight you're going to have on your hands today.
And Brian, it's not just been a tough season for Wofford, it's been a tough 2021 for Wofford, because they went 1-4 in the abbreviated Southern Conference season that was held back in the spring. So they're 2-13 in the year 2021, and God bless them. They've had to start 4 quarterbacks this year, Jones. How can you win? How can you do anything playing 4 different guys at the signal position?
And Lee, that's a great point. We talk about, how many games should these kids play and play as safety. These guys play spring football, and then to turn right back around a couple months later and have to play a fall season. That's tough, and that's a great point.
And that don't know if these two things are related, but they do have 23 guys that are out for the year due to injury. 23! And that includes starters at quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, and 2 offensive linemen on the offensive side. So, they have really had a tough go, and will be concluding their season here today in Chapel Hill. And, Lee, we've seen FCS opponents here in recent years like the Citadel, Mercer, Western Carolina appear on Carolina's late season schedule, but today's matchup with Wofford, likely the last time we'll face this type of opponent in this schedule window for the foreseeable future.
Well, Jones, it started back with Alabama in 2007 when they scheduled Louisiana Monroe the week before the big rivalry showdown with Auburn. Auburn followed suit the next year, and that spread throughout the SEC and developed into what they call Cupcake Saturday. And Larry Fedora, Bubba Cunningham kind of followed suit here at Carolina beginning 2013 with this 3rd Saturday in November of a Southern Conference team or another football bowl subdivision team. Mac Brown came in. He does not like playing this game this late in the year. He wants to play it early in the year. He thinks it's short shrift to the seniors to every other year to have a very this kind of atmosphere for their final game. So from now on, Carolina's going to try and schedule its one FBS team up earlier in the year. So this is probably the last time you'll see a Southern Conference team coming to Chapel Hill the 3rd week in Saturday.
Yeah, Carolina plays an FCS opponent next season in the opening week. In fact, I think it's a week 0 game where they host Florida A&M here in Chapel Hill. So that will be the operation moving forward, at least as long as Mac Brown is leading the Tar Heel program. Brian, real quickly here, bowl eligibility in play. Carolina, as the Tar Heels look for their 6th win of the season. It would make them bowl eligible for the 3rd consecutive season. Not going to the Orange Bowl like they did last year, but still trying to get that extra game.
Absolutely, and that's what you want. You want to play and earn the right to play one extra game, because at this point, that's all you can get, and that's the goal. And listen, for a lot of people, I hate to hear the term, well, they don't have anything to play for. Well, if you tell me we're kicking off at 12 o'clock, we have something to play for, and that's what Carolina has today.
It'll be against Wofford coming up in just a couple minutes here in Kenan Stadium. All right, we're going to take a break, come back. Kyle Straub will take you the rest of the way this morning. Dave Nathan up in Uncasville, Connecticut with Carolina basketball. Kyle will guide you through the rest of the Rees Jewelers pregame show. That starts with a conversation with Jeff Saturday after this break. All coming from Learfield.
This is
to you by Reed's Jewelers. The official Reed's Jewelers kickoff time today is noon. Reed's Jeweler, your home for fine Swiss timepieces, beautiful diamonds, and the world's most luxurious jewelry brands. Reed's Jewelers, trusted with life's moments. Kyle Stroud with you here inside Kenan Memorial Stadium as we get ready for kickoff at noon. And up next on the pregame show, Jones caught up with former Carolina lineman Jeff Saturday. Here's what he had to say.
Time again for Carolina football. Tar Heels, their final home game of the season, hosting the Wofford Terriers. And with that final home game, that means it is senior day. To help us talk about that and more, always enjoy our time with Tar Heel great Jeff Saturday. And Jeff, I ask you this every year, but senior day, an emotional day. What do you remember from your senior day in Chapel Hill, and what's going through these guys' minds right now as they prepare to potentially play for the last time in Kenan Stadium?
Incredible day, Jones. Like, man, when you're walking out there with your parents or your family, and you're getting this walk, the fans are going crazy. You're seeing all the guys that you came in with, and the relationships that you've built for a number of years and kind of have come to fruition, man. And it's just an incredible day, man. As you walk out there, you're looking at your room dogs, man, and you're hugging each other, and the parents are hugging each other, and it's just, it doesn't get better, man. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's a passing that you're so appreciative of and so grateful for. And I just think it's one of those moments in your life. You talk about mark moments. That's one of them. And it's just I couldn't. It makes me smile right now just thinking about it. So it's just fantastic.
Jeff, the opponent today is Wofford. It's an FCS program. They've had a tough year. They're just 1-9. They've lost their last 9 games. So Carolina is understandably heavily favored in this game. Coach Brown has talked a lot about playing, not worrying about the opponent and playing to your own standard, fixing things that need to happen for yourself in this game. How big of a challenge is that to do when you are going to be heavily favored just physically with your opponent this afternoon?
Yeah, shouldn't be at all, right? Like with the season that we've had, these quote get right games. You want to get right. I remember as a starter, for a number of years, I'd see how fast can we put up 28 points and blank them so that I can be watching some of my boys get some time. You know what I mean? And those were the conversations we have, and that's what's got to be expected, man. You need to go out there, and especially on senior day, as emotional it is. You don't want to leave this team in it, man. Go step on them early, man. Hurt their feelings, hurt their hearts. Have their fans go ahead and trickle out by the end of the first quarter. Put a lot of smiles on people's face.
Jeff, last thing, Sam Howell, one of 22 players going through the senior day activities today. Sam has left the door a little bit open about a potential return, but the belief is that he is likely going to be in Chapel Hill for the last time today, or in Kenan Stadium for the last time today. I understand this is from afar, but what have you seen from Sam, both on the field and the impact that he has made for Carolina football?
Just an incredible career, Jones. Like, when you think about when he came in, I mean, it seems like yesterday I'm watching him run around as a freshman, and people talk about how great he was, and now this is the last one. It's an incredible an incredible impact he's had, not only on the football field but just on the Carolina community, man. That he and Mac and kind of starting this thing together, and the way that recruiting and the way that everything's kind of fostered off of the success that he's had, man. It's been awesome to watch. I'm appreciative that he's been a Tar Heel and been one that you're proud to hoist that helmet, man, every Saturday. He's been a special kid. He's done it the right way. I mean, I don't know that you can give anybody a compliment any more than that, right? I mean, everything he's been asked to do, he's done it and then exceeded those expectations. So if it is the last one, man, so appreciative of him and what he's done for Carolina. And for our Tar Heels, man, and we're going to be pulling for him for years to come, brother.
That's the voice of Jeff Saturday. Jeff, always appreciate your time. You're generous with it every single week. We really appreciate that and look forward to talking with you again next week.
Appreciate you, brother. Go Heels.
Get your fill, Chapel Hill. Long day here on the Tar Heel Sports Network, but it's Carolina everything. I'll preview the men's basketball game as they take on 6th-ranked Purdue later on this afternoon. When we come back, You're listening to the pregame show here from Learfield. Every sack is a sack to give back. Every sack the Tar Heels make this season, Food Lion will donate 1,000 meals to feed our neighbors in need right here in the Triangle. I'm Kyle Straub with you on the pregame show, and fans, make sure you're buckled up for the long haul today. It's not just football, but it is also going to be men's basketball. We'll roll over our coverage right into that one after the conclusion of the football game here today. In terms of the basketball team, they'll take on the 6th-ranked Purdue Boilermakers in the Hall of Fame tip-off. Carolina off to a 3-0 start in Coach Davis's first year, but tough test in a Purdue team that features three players over 6'10", one of which, Zach Edey, listed at 7'4", and leads the Boilermakers at 18.7 points a game so far this season. Coach Davis spoke about the matchup earlier this week and specifically about those bigs, and here's what he had to say.
Yeah, he does a really good job of getting position really close to the basket. It's something that we have to prepare for. It's something that we have to be willing to compete against. We want them to catch the ball further away from the basket, but he poses a lot of problems, and so it's gonna stretch our bigs defensively on every possession. But also on the, one of the things that I always say is, the challenge of defending them around the basket and in the post, but there's a challenge for them too to defend our bigs. We can score around the basket as well, and we can also play out on the perimeter. So as much as they pose a problem for us and a challenge for us, we do the same thing on the other end.
Davis. Sam Howell, a game-time decision here today. Lee Pace is down on the sidelines here in Keenan Memorial. Lee, any update on his status for the game?
Kyle, actually, I'm standing at midfield behind the Tar Heel quarterbacks, and Sam Howell is just a few feet away from me. He is dressed out completely in sweatpants. He will not play today. Jacoby Criswell, number 6, will be the starting quarterback for the Tar Heels. He'll get time along with Drake May, number 10, both of them right here in front of me. The only other personnel note of interest, Kyle, is number 15 on offense. Bo Corrales is finally dressed out. He has not played since Game 5 of the 2020 season with several injuries, but hopefully he's been fighting his way back. Hopefully can get in and maybe play today, next week, and perhaps in a bowl game. apply for an exemption and get yet another year for next year. Beautiful day here in Kenan Stadium, Kyle. It's going to be fun. 50 to 55 degrees leading up to bright sun, so it's going to be one of those days where if you're in the sun, it's going to be comfortable. If you're in the shade, you're going to want to bundle up.
Carolina loses Howell, but has Corrales back. We'll see the future of the Tar Heels behind quarterback under center for today's game. When we come back, we'll have part one of Jones Angels' conversation with the head coach, Mac Brown, on the Reed's Jewelers pregame show from Learfield.
We've came a long way.
Reports indicate that Mac Brown is returning to Chapel Hill.
It hasn't been easy.
Now to growing concerns about coronavirus. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor.
Through every sprint and set, we fought. Through the naysayers, the doubters, and all the talking heads who wrote us off. Through every sweet victory.
Got it. Touchdown, Howell.
Joy celebration.
Touchdown, Carolina.
Through every shattered expectation. Disappointed in it. Just a few years ago, we were on the afterthought. Brushed aside. A non-factor. Not anymore.
Ball out of the pocket. Looking downfield. Unloads one for down. Gang is going to be swarmed. Blitz off the edge. It was Conley. Oh, my goodness. It's intercepted. Cody Grimes. That's the ball. And he is into the end zone. Flipping into the quarterback. Jump ball. Touchdown. And Mac Brown pouring it on.
Came a long way, but this journey is just beginning.
For this installment of the Continental Tires Coach's Corner, brought to you by Continental Tires, innovative technology. Driving confident. For a dealer near you, go to continentaltire.com.
Inside the Continental Tire Coach's Corner, along with the head coach of the Tar Heels, Mac Brown. Carolina closing its 2021. Inside the Continental Tire Coach's Corner, along with the head coach of the Tar Heels, Mac Brown. Carolina closing its 2021 home campaign this afternoon against Wofford. And coach, it is senior day in Chapel Hill. 21 Tar Heels playing for the final time in Kenan Stadium. What has this group, coach, meant to you and to your staff?
When you take over a program that's obviously struggling like ours was, you need guys to buy in. And this group did. We had some leave that didn't want to. And I understood all of that because it's a very difficult time for young teams when their coach and all the coaches are gone that recruited them and told them, you're going to do this, and we're going to run this offense, we're going to run this defense, and here's where you're going to fit. And then they've got some new staff coming in that they don't know anything about. They have to buy in. And then you have some good games and bad games, and we were lucky to have a good first year. And then we had a great second year. And then this year it's been good. Not what we expected, not what we wanted, but we're getting better. And that's why today is very, very important for these seniors to finish strong and then go play a really good rival game with NC State next week.
Coach Sam Howell has announced that he will be going through the senior day activities today in Chapel Hill, and obviously he has been terrific on the field, but man, he has been such an enormous part of your full program rebuild at that quarterback position.
Yeah, you got to have a guy. You got to have as Steve Adazio used to call them, dudes. And Sam's been a dude for us. He's been the face of our program. He's done so much for us to get us from where we were to where we are nationally. People recognize us. People talk about us. And the large majority of that reason is what Sam Howell has done for us. So this being his last game at home, obviously we're making a game day decision today on a upper body injury that's been sore for him. So he and the doctors will tell us here in a few minutes whether he's going to play or not. But we're so appreciative for everything Sam's done.
Coach, last time Carolina was in action was the Pittsburgh game last Thursday night. What has been the schedule since then for your team, and what has been the focus this week for your team as you've prepared for this matchup with Wofford?
We gave the guys off after class on Friday and Saturday. They had required watching of Wake Forest and NC State on Saturday night. Had to bring notes back to us. But then we've had the regular week of practice that we would normally have starting on Sunday and working up till today. This is a critical game for us to see how we play. We're supposed to win the game. We're supposed to win it by a huge margin. I want to see energy. I want to see us playing. I want to see us correct some of the mistakes that we've been making. And I want to see us get better today. Honor the seniors today. Win and get eligible for a bowl game today, but I also want to see us play better, and that's in all phases. So had a great week's practice, put a tremendous amount of pressure on the guys this week. This would be a really easy week to let up since they had the 3 games against ranked teams in 13 days. They're tired. They've got a lot of emotion spent, but today we need to play because it's the next game and we need to get better.
Carolina and Wofford coming soon in Chapel Hill. Coach will rejoin me a little bit later in our pregame show. Here are Carolina's starters on defense.
Bravo Hasek, McHenry, Illinois.
Miles Murphy, Greensboro, North Carolina, Delhi High School.
Cameron Rucker, Hartwell Elementary. Lamont Fox, Lawrenceville, Georgia. Jeremiah Gimmel, Newton, Georgia. Cedric Gray, Charlotte, North Carolina. Aquarius Colley, Jacksonville, North Carolina. Trey Morrison, Atlanta, Georgia. Colin McMichael, Atlanta, Georgia.
Cam Kelly, South Norfolk, Virginia. Tony Brown, 757, where the dog's at.
Keenan Moments from Lee Pace, author of Football in a Forest, presented by the Campaign for Carolina. creating opportunities for more Tar Heels.
The 2021 football season marks the 50th anniversary of one of the best teams in Carolina football history, the 1971 squad that posted a 9-3 record and won the ACC championship. Coach Bill Dooley's program steadily improved from his first year in 1967, going 2-8, then 3-7, then 5-5, and then 8-4 in 1970 with a berth in the Peach Bowl. That set the stage for the 1971 team that was built around the seniors who'd come to Chapel Hill in Dooley's first recruiting class. Quarterback Paul Miller and linebacker John Bunning were the team captains and led the Tar Heels to a 9-3 record. Carolina was 6-0 in the ACC and lost only at home to Tulane by 8 points and on the road to Notre Dame by 16. They dropped a close game to Georgia, 7-3 in the Gator Bowl, but a nucleus of players returned in 1972 and led the Tar Heels to an 11-1 mark and another ACC title.
15 minutes to kickoff, presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Wofford, the opponent today for the Tar Heels. Terriers head coach Josh Conklin spoke earlier this week with the media. Here's what he had to say about this matchup here today.
If the players will execute and do their job, and what I mean by that, I'll give you an example. Offensive line, okay? Are we going to be able to double team and move their defensive line every single snap? Probably not. They're going to win some and we're going to win some, and they may win more than we do. But if we're executing and we're giving great effort and a guy beats us, then I can live with that as a head coach. You can live with that. If a guy's just better that day or he's better on that given play, I can live with that. Same thing defensively. If we're using our hands up front and we're trying to come off the ball and giving great effort, and we can't win a one-on-one battle or we can't tear off and make a play, then I can live with that. But the lack of execution is what I don't want to see. And that's kind of what's been my charge the last 3 weeks, really, is just execute. I want to see if the coaches can teach it. I want to see if the players can execute it. And I want to see what it looks like on Saturday. And it's everybody involved. It's the coaching staff. It's the players. And I don't care if it's a senior. I don't care if it's a freshman. If it's a young guy and they can't do what we need them to do, then let's do what they can do. So I can evaluate if they can do it, and if we can do it as a staff and as a player. So that's kind of what I'm looking for.
Here are Carolina's starters on offense.
Easy, Atlanta, Georgia. Kieran Johnson, Reesville, North Carolina. Jordan Tucker, Roswell High School, DeKalb University.
Austin Richards, Philly. Marcus McKeithen, Barnwell, South Carolina.
Garrett Walston, New Hanover High School.
Justin Olson, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Josh Downs, Slimy Little Dude High School. Antoine Green, Rockledge, Florida.
Todd Chandler, Montgomery Bell Academy High School. Jacoby Griswold, Rolton, Arkansas.
My Carolina experience has been amazing. It's been what I was dreaming for since I was a kid.
I've had an unbelievable experience here. It's been a dream come true.
Just meeting new people, forming a bond with these guys on and off the field. That's probably been the best part.
This program has helped me, become accountable with myself, staying true to my responsibilities and just being a good teammate all around.
Just hanging around with the guys in the locker room has been the best memory.
The bond is just something that I'll probably never have with anyone else. We're a family now. I make friends that I'm going to have at my wedding.
These guys here right now are my brothers, and I'm very grateful for the friendship and bond that we've been able to create.
From the relationships I built right away and just being so comfortable around everybody, I've loved it.
I think it's the time to reflect and be happy and really truly believe that we left Carolina a better place than we came in.
And this program has made me accountable.
I've always wanted to go to growing up. Carolina Blue has always kind of been in my blood, and
that brotherhood is just unmatched.
People make you better, you make people better. My time here has been one of a kind. I'll always remember that.
This program's helped me grow individually as a man and being past a football player and being more than just an athlete.
Just inspirational people around you to really build you and mold you into just a great person.
I'm very thankful. It's been a great experience at Carolina. I think I've really matured as a person here, and I'm very thankful for my time here.
Seen a lot of things, been through a lot of things, especially adversity, and we've kind of fought through that. And couldn't be more proud of my teammates and everybody who's been through that.
It's a special place, and I'm just truly blessed to be somewhere like this and be surrounded by such a great group of guys.
And we've been through so much to the point they're pretty much my brothers, they're family.
Whether it's in the sports life or it's in the real world, I'm gonna always have those brothers with me.
My name is Grayson Atkins.
British Brooks.
Adam Buck.
Carson Burgess.
Todd Chandler.
Mon Fox.
Jeremiah Gimmel.
Carl Hopper.
Greg Goodwin.
Sam Howell.
Connor Shope.
Tron Johnson.
Marcus McKeithen.
Tyler McMichael.
Trey Morrison. Nick Makovic.
Alex Nobles.
Jordan Tucker.
Drabo Hasek.
Garrett Walston.
And I'm a Tar Heel.
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 From Gastonia, North Carolina, number 24, British Brooks. British is joined by Leslie Brooks and Darius James. From Reidsville, North Carolina, number 94, Adam Buck. Adam is joined by Kelly and Timmy Buck. From Greensboro, North Carolina, number 35, Carson Burgess. Carson is joined by Angela and Sam Burgess. From Nashville, Tennessee, number 19, Ty Chandler. Ty is joined by Katrina and Chico Chandler. From Georgetown, Texas, number 15, Bo Corrales. Bo is joined by Tammy and Greg Corrales. From Lawrenceville, Georgia, number 75, Joshua Azudu. Joshua is joined by Fantola and Rafael Azudu. From Lawrenceville, Georgia, number 12, Tamon Fox. Tamon is joined by Monica and Tony Fox. From Noonan, Georgia, number 44, Jeremiah Gimmel. Jeremiah is joined by Jessica Alford and Rick Gimmel. From Charlotte, North Carolina, number 89, Gray Goodwin. Gray is joined by Lee and Bill Goodwin. From Rossville, Georgia, number 42, Tyrone Hopper. Tyrone is joined by Jeanette and Clifton Hopper. From Indian Trail, North Carolina, number 7, Sam Howell. Sam is joined by Amy and Duke Howell. From Reidsville, North Carolina, number 69, Kieron Johnson. Kieron is joined by Angela and Ian Johnson. From Greensboro, North Carolina, number 65, Nick Makovic. Nick is joined by Paula and Ken Makovic. From Barnwell, South Carolina, number 73, Marcus McKeithen. Marcus is joined by Andrea Davis and Jeffrey McKeithen. From Atlanta, Georgia, number 1, Tyler McMichael. Tyler is joined by Darren McMichael. From Norcross, Georgia, number 4, Trey Morrison. Trey is joined by Tracy and Troy Morrison. From Rocky Mount, North Carolina, number 97, Alex Nobles. Alex is joined by Lisa Nobles. From Murphy, North Carolina, number 79, Hunter Show. Hunter is joined by Tammy and James Show. Number 74 from Roswell, Georgia, Jordan Tucker. Jordan is joined by Lisa and Shelton Tucker. From McHenry, Illinois, number 51, Ray Vohasek. Ray is joined by Coach Tim Cross. From Wilmington, North Carolina, number 84, Garrett Walston. Garrett is joined by Louise Walston. Please join Carolina Athletics in thanking these young men for their amazing contributions to Carolina football and to the University of North Carolina. Carolina Athletics. Graduating members are Will Henson, Kennedy Bird, Drew McQuaid, Lauren Augustine, Diego Ramos, Harrison Longano, Emma Bradford, Samuel Renard, Maddie Carroll, Audrey Colton, and Marky McCray. And now, please welcome your Carolina girls, the UNC dance team. Dancing for the last time in Keegan Stadium today are the senior members of the dance team. Carly Orendis, Haley Jones, Emma Clark, Vera Stanley,